Back in 1901, English scientists noticed a puzzling thing. They were measuring the radioactivity of the newly discovered element radium. To do this, they used an electroscope with two gold leaf electrodes which they expected to move together to show the presence of the rays. But the results were not as they expected. Even when the radium was moved away, the two leaves of gold still reacted. Radiation must be coming from somewhere else. What was more surprising was that this reaction was being noticed in laboratories all over the world. Most scientists at the time believed that the radiation must be coming from minerals in the ground. So in 1910, a German physicist, Theodor Wolff, took his electroscope up to the top of the Eiffel Tower. He found that the effect was actually stronger at altitude. The radiation was not coming from the ground. At this point, an Austrian physicist, Victor Hess, had the idea that the ionizing radiation was coming from the sky. He built devices which could survive the changes in temperature and pressure that occur at altitude and took them up in a hot air balloon. He found that the greater the altitude, the higher the levels of ionizing radiation became. At a height of several kilometers, this radiation was many times the level of that on the ground. Hess concluded that a radiation of very high penetrating power enters our atmosphere from above. Hess next thought that it came from the sun, so on April 12, 1912, he took his balloon up again during a total eclipse of the sun. If his theory was correct, the levels of ionizing radiation should drop dramatically during the eclipse. Unfortunately, they didn't, and Hess was wrong. So the question remained, what was the source of ionized radiation? Hess continued to work on the problem. Others joined the race to find the source. Most notable was an American, Robert Millikan, who was the first to call the mystery radiation cosmic rays. Another American, Carl D. Anderson, discovered the positron, which is an antimatter version of the electron. After more than 100 years, scientists still do not know exactly where this radiation comes from. We know that some comes from the sun, and that supernova and black holes produce more. And it is this that causes the problem. Because there are so many small sources, it makes it virtually impossible to trace the source of the rest. Back to the studio.